Welcome to another Genshin Impact video. Today we are gonna take a look at Linnea, the newest 5-star character, who is a Geo sub DPS, which is very interesting. She is supposed to work really well with C6ing, who I also have on this account, and someone is trying to join my world, probably to get some Linnea materials, judging by their profile picture. But I'm sorry, they're all gone, because I needed to level up my own Linnea. She is now already level 90, even though it's just one day after her release. I also joined some other players' worlds to get all the materials needed. But yeah, this is what her build looks like. My Linnea has over 2600 defense, 243 elemental mastery, and a crit ratio of 90 to 190. And also a bit of energy recharge, though that's not really needed. You only need to go for energy recharge if you want to burst every rotation. Like if you use her with a Farina team, for example. Or if your C6ing uses Harbinger of Dawn, so you want her to be at full HP constantly. But for most teams, it's fine to just burst every other rotation or just when needed, because aside from healing, her burst doesn't really do anything. But yeah, the weapon I'm using is actually a 3-star weapon, the Slingshot, which is actually one of her best weapons, because the only drawback of a 3-star weapon like this is the low base attack, and since Linnea scales of defense, it doesn't matter that the weapon has low attack. What does matter though is 31 crit rate. That's a lot of crit rate. So yeah, this is actually a really good stat stick for her. And then as for the artifacts, I'm using Husk of Opulent Dreams, but you could also use the new Lunar reaction set, or what's it called again, Orbate of Morningstar or something like that. That set and Husk are basically exactly equal. With Husk you get a bit more healing, but in terms of damage they are both really good, and yeah, just take the one that has better substats. In my case that was Husk. As you can see, I have pretty decent substats here on the flower, but even better on the feather. This one actually has 840 roll value. It's one of my best artifacts that I've ever gotten in my 5 years of playing Genshin. It is actually kinda insane. But then the Sands looks a lot worse. It rolled a bit into energy recharge, which like I said is not that useful, but at least you got some crit damage rolls here. So not the worst Sands ever, but also far from the best. I'm definitely gonna try to improve this one in the future. And then for the Goblet, I'm also using a defense one. Geo damage bonus isn't really that great for Linnea. It is usable, but if you have a good defense Goblet, you should definitely use that instead. And this one I actually created with Sanctifying Elixirs because I wasn't able to get a good defense Goblet for her. And then the Circlet is my off piece with crit damage and elemental mastery, defense and crit rate. Then as for the Constellation, she is Z0 and the talents are at level 6, 9 and 9. So yeah, that's my Linnea build. So let's try her out now and see how much damage she can actually do. And how well she also supports the team, mainly C6ing, since Linnea actually shreds Geo resistance. So she is kind of a support and a sub DPS. She should be really useful for this team here that you can see here with Illuga, Xingqiu, C6ing. It's basically my usual C6ing team, but with Linnea instead of Goro. Now, my Illuga, as you can see, has a red exclamation mark here. That's because I actually did manage to get enough constellations on the Linnea banner to get him all the way to C6. But for now, he's still C2, because I had him at C2 during my C6ing showcase as well, and I want a direct comparison between my previous C6ing team and now with Linnea. But then later in the video, I'm probably going to activate Illuga's constellations and then also compare whether it's better to replace Illuga or Goro in this team. I'm pretty sure C6 Goro is actually better than C2 Illuga, but then at C6 Illuga is going to be better than C6 Goro. But yeah, that's all things we're going to test in this video. But for now, let's just go and try out Linnea. I'm really excited for this because I love her. I can't wait to see how much damage she actually does. And yeah, as usual, I'm gonna go to Inazuma first, to Masanori over here. My usual test subject, who's probably gonna be too frail to put up much of a fight against Linnea. But well, let's just see how much she can take. Let's go straight in. And yeah, before I use the full team, I'm gonna just try Linnea on her own. See how much damage she does. So if I just tap the skill, she summons Lumi, and then Lumi does some Geo damage and also Lunar-Crystallize damage. At least she's supposed to do Lunar-Crystallize, she isn't doing it here. Right, I have to trigger actual Lunar-Crystallize for Lumi then to also do Lunar-Crystallize. Yeah, there we go, 56k. That's much better. 56k again. Yeah, I mean, that is without any buffs. I just used Xingqiu's skill that doesn't buff anything. Just triggering a bit of Lunar-Crystallize and using Linnea's skill doing over 50k. That's actually kind of insane. But of course there's one other thing you can do, and that is instead of just tapping her skill once, you can tap it several times for a big nuke like this, and that did 211k. Oh my god, that's actually a lot. Whoa, I love that. Yeah, that's big. But then after this, Lumi actually only does normal geo damage. She can't do any more Lunar-Crystallize. So that's the drawback. And yeah, as far as I know, it's actually always better to just tap the skill once. Because over the course of the whole rotation, that's actually gonna do more damage than that one big nuke. Which is kinda sad, that it's not really worth going for the nuke. But you could still use it to like finish off a boss that is already almost dead. And it's definitely just fun to use, just doing this and then big hit. Okay, this time it was only 196k, but that's still really good. Yeah, I love her kit so far. And the damage is actually kinda insane, considering that I haven't even used Illuga yet to buff her. Or, you know, any of the other buffers. Just Linnea on her own already does so much damage. So yeah, let's just go straight back in, and this time I'm actually gonna use Illuga to buff Linnea a bit. So we are gonna do this first, and then we use Illuga's burst. And how much damage is Lumi gonna do now? Let's see. 96k! Oh my god, just from C2 Illuga, it's almost doubled. That is amazing. Okay, yeah, I love that. 100k there! It's getting better and better. And Masanori is dead any moment, just one more big hit from Lumi. I guess I have to trigger some Lunar-Crystallize again first. There we go, 61k. Yeah, so far she's just absolutely amazing. Now let's see how much she actually buffs C-Buy. From what I remember, in my last showcase, my C-Buy was able to do like 180k with her special skill, with the support of Illuga and Goro. So let's see how much damage she does now with Illuga and Linnea. Is it gonna be higher than with Goro? I sure hope so. Even if it isn't, with all the damage that Linnea is doing, she's definitely better than Goro here, since Goro is doing no damage. But yeah, let's just go in and see how this goes. Do a full proper rotation here. Just gonna start with Xingqiu Burst, then Illuga, then we tap skill with Linnea, and we unleash C-Buy. Okay, how much is it gonna do? It didn't crit, I think. And he's already dead. Yeah, okay, there were a lot of numbers going on, a lot of very big numbers, but he died too fast to take a proper look at C-Buy's damage here. So, we are already gonna move on from Masanori pretty early in this showcase, and go to our second test subject, Kongamato, over here in Natlan. And hopefully here we can actually see the damage. Just start with Xingqiu again, like before, then Illuga, then Linnea, and C-Buy. Okay, how much is it doing? Didn't see it again. It's so hard to see when so many numbers are going. 193k, I think. I saw 193. Yep, 193 again. Okay, so it's actually more than with Goro. And it's already dead in one rotation. Okay, okay. Yeah, that was more than with Goro. So Linnea is not only a better support than one of the best 4-star Geo supports, but she also does a lot more damage. So yeah, she's just an insane upgrade over Goro. To no one's surprise. I mean, that's kind of what I was expecting. But you know, Goro is also not bad, especially with his C6. So I wasn't sure how much better it was actually gonna be. But yeah, that is definitely an improvement. Actually, just to make sure, I'm gonna switch over to Goro real quick and do this again, because I think I actually improved my Illuga build since the C-Buy showcase, so some of the damage could also just be from an improved Illuga build. So with Goro it might be more than 180k as well, now that I think about it. So yeah, let's just do this one time with Goro. Okay, there we go. Now how much damage are you gonna do, C-Buy? That was 180 something, I think. Yeah, 186. Okay, yeah, so Linnea is definitely better. But yeah, this is also really good here with Goro. Oh, I actually wasn't able to kill him in one rotation though. It's close though. Very close. Okay, yeah, just wanted to make sure. But now another interesting question is, what happens if I replace Illuga with Linnea instead? This variation of the team, how much damage is C-Buy gonna do with this? Because like I said in the beginning, C6 Goro should in theory be better than C2 Illuga. So let's find out if that is actually true. Oh, and also if you're wondering why I'm using Xingqiu here instead of Aino, well, I tested it during my C-Buy showcase and I actually got higher DPS with Xingqiu, but that might be different with a C6 Aino. I almost was able to get C6 during my Linnea rolls, but sadly I only ended up with, where is she, there, with C5. I'm probably still gonna do some more pulls on the Linnea banner, so maybe I'm still gonna get that last constellation in the next few weeks at some point. But for now, she is only C5, and I think without her C6, Jingzhou is still better. But anyway, time to do this one more time. Get your burst, Goro. There we go. Okay, how much damage is this gonna be? Ah, didn't see again. Okay, 194k. It's about the same as the Illuga, actually. So, yeah, I think if I saw it correctly, it was 194k. With the Illuga, it was 196, right? So it was actually a little bit lower with Goro, maybe, I think. Not sure about that. It's about the same, though. It's about the same. So, yeah, C6 Goro seems to be about equal to C2 Illuga in this team, which means that after we activate Illuga's constellations, he's definitely going to be better than Goro, but Goro is absolutely a viable option still. Okay, so it might be time now to go to the test dummy in Miniature Wonderland, but actually before I do that, there's one more thing I want to try, and that's just buffing Linnea's nuke, this thing, as much as I can to see how far I can actually push Linnea's damage, because I kinda am tempted to use her as kind of a main DPS sometimes, you know, not in endgame content, but in like the overworld. I don't always want to use C-Buy, I'm not the biggest C-Buy fan, so yeah, I want to see how much Linnea's nuke can actually do. And what is the best way to do this? We definitely want both Goro and Illuga for this, that's for sure. So let's replace C-Buy here with Illuga. And then instead of Jingzhou, is there another character we could use that buffs Elemental Mastery? I mean, I know with her C1 is probably the best one we could use here. So yeah, let's actually go with this team and see how much her nuke does then. The highest number we've seen so far was like a bit over 200k, right? So can we maybe get to 250k? Maybe even 300k? I don't know. Just gonna start the rotation with Aino here. Then use Illuga, Goro, and huge nuke. Oh, it didn't crit. Are you kidding me? But it did 132k damage without even critting. That is kinda insane. But yeah, let's just get our bursts back and try this again. And 459k, did I see that right? That was almost 500,000. Oh my god, that's even more than I expected. That is actually so cool that she can do so much damage. I love that. Okay, that actually makes her kind of viable as a main DPS in the overworld at least. But seriously, how did we miss that crit in the first rotation? I mean, 90%, and then we get another 5% from Illuga, so that's 95% when we missed that crit. A 5% chance to miss, that's kinda insane, but oh well. Let's finish him off now with one more rotation. Oh, Goro died. Oh, that's not great. I guess we're just using Aino and Illuga. Let's do this, and this. And nuke. Okay, 313k there without Goro. That's still pretty good. Okay, now Goro actually has presented us with an opportunity here. Let's revive him real quick. But now he's at low health. He only has 2,700 now out of 14,000, which gives us an opportunity to test Linnea's healing, which we haven't done yet in this video. There we go. And that almost hit Goro to full, and then we get 1,800 per healing tick when he's the active character. And yeah, he was at like 12k after the healing, so it was like a burst heal of 10k, and this for the entire team, which is actually not bad, you know, 10k for the entire team, and then almost 2k per tick for the active character. That is pretty decent healing, so she can definitely be used with a character like Furina. So yeah, overall Linnea just so far is very impressive. She does a lot of damage, she is a good Geo support, she heals a lot as well. I am really happy with her so far. But yeah, let's actually go to the Miniature Wonderland now, go to the test dummy, and see how much DPS we're actually getting with these different teams. And first I'm actually gonna test my previous C-Buy team without Linnea, just so that we have a comparison. And from what I remember, this did like a little bit over 70k in my C-Buy showcase, but since then I have improved my Illuga build a little bit, so it might do a bit more now. So yeah, let's just see how much this is. This is gonna be our baseline for this DPS test. I'm expecting at least 70k. Let's see. Okay, that is very weird. Why is it only doing 62k? That is much less than I got in my C-Buy showcase, even though the builds have improved since then. What the heck? Did I do something wrong? I'm just gonna try this again. Okay, there we go. Now I got 71. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a few runs. I don't know what is going on today, why I'm struggling to get 70k. With this Zibai team, I wasn't struggling like that in my Zibai showcase, but yeah, I still am able to get over 70k, 71k even. So this is where the team is at, and now the question is, how much better is it gonna be with Linnea? And of course, let's take a look at the damage distribution here, because we have 82% on Zibai. That is gonna change, because Linnea is gonna take a huge piece of the pie. So Zibai is gonna have, like, probably only around 60 to 70%, if I had to guess, in the Linnea version of this team. But yeah, let's just go and test this now. And first I'm gonna replace Goro, but then later on I'm also gonna try it with Goro here instead of Illuga. Oh, that's different, that's new. I guess they updated this. Oh wow, I like it. That's a very different vibe from how it usually is here. But yeah, I actually do kinda like this. Anyway, let's do this now. Use Xingqiu first, Illuga, Linnea, and then we unleash Zibai. Do lots of damage. Yeah, we're already at over 70k here, 80k even. Oh yeah, this is gonna be easy over 80k, I think. Maybe even 90k? It's looking pretty good. Oh, I forgot to set the timer to 1 minute like I usually do. So I have to stop it when it reaches 60 seconds, like right now. Okay. 95. That is actually an even bigger increase than I expected. Oh my god. That is huge. Going from 70k to 95k. What the heck? And yeah, like I said, Zibai is at around 60% now, with Linnea taking 26%. And then Illuga and Xingqiu, of course, doing almost no damage. But yeah, this actually feels so good, this team. Oh my god, this is my best team on the auto account now. I don't think any of my other teams even come close to this. Not even my Nuvelet or Alikino teams. This is the first team on this account that's gotten this close to 100k. And keep in mind that I still haven't activated Illuga's constellations. He's still only C2. So with C6 Illuga, we might actually be able to get to 100k with this team. And then also if I get C6 Ino on this banner, oh my god, this team is gonna be insane. But yeah, let's actually now test the Goro version of this. What happens if we use Goro instead of Illuga? Can we still get over 90k? Okay, this time I'm not gonna forget to set the timer. There we go, 60 seconds. And let's do this. Yeah, we are already at over 70k again, easily. 80k. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Oh, Sacrificial didn't activate there. And Goro didn't get his burst in time. So it's not perfect. Okay, 81k. So yeah, it's definitely worse than with Illuga. But that's partly because I was struggling a bit with energy there in the middle. That didn't happen with Illuga. Illuga is a lot easier to build in terms of like energy than Goro. Goro struggles a bit if you don't give him copious amounts of energy recharge. Illuga needs a lot less ER. And also Xingqiu's Sacrificial Sword didn't proc in the second rotation, which also didn't really help with the energy. So it wasn't a perfect run. I'm pretty sure we can get at least a few thousand more DPS here. So let's go in and try this again. Okay, yeah, that's much better. Now everything went right, and yeah, that is much closer to Illuga. Almost the same DPS actually. Very comparable. So yeah, if you have C6 Goro, but you didn't get lucky enough to get Illuga, then he's definitely also usable here. He's almost as good. Though, like I said before, I thought actually C6 Goro was better than C2 Illuga, but it seems at least in this team that is not the case. He's slightly worse. And like I mentioned before, he also struggles a bit more with energy. But when everything goes right, then he definitely can keep up with Illuga. But yeah, now that we've tested that, there's one more thing to do, and that is actually activate Illuga's constellations and see if we can actually reach over 100k with that. Okay, here we go. C3, C4, C5, and the big C6. Now he gives 10% crit rate instead of just 5%, which means that our Linnea now guaranteed crits every time. She's gonna have 100% now and 220% crit damage actually. So yeah, very nice constellation. So with that being said, let's go straight back to the test dummy and see how much damage we are doing now. Can we reach 100k? That's the big question. Here we go. Start with Xingqiu as always. Switch to Illuga. Then we put Linnea on the field real quick, and C6 does most of the damage. Let's see. Yeah, we're already at almost 100k there. Over 100k, there it is. Oh my god. We're already there. 110k. Oh my god, this is making a bigger impact than I thought. Yeah, we are constantly over 100k now. This is kinda insane. $108k. That is amazing. Oh my god, look at this. Let's see. C6 still around 60%, Linnea about 26%. Yeah, the distribution didn't change, but the overall damage did change. We got 13k more than with C2 Illuga. So yeah, it is definitely a very significant increase. And this is now officially my first team on my free-to-play auto account that can reach over 100k DPS. And easily at that. We were basically at over 100k for almost the entire 60 seconds of this fight. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, okay. So, it was definitely really worth it to roll for Linnea. Not just for herself, she's amazing of course, but also to get more Illuga constellations. Absolutely worth every single Primogem. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna continue rolling on this banner because we can get even better with C6 Ino. So I'm gonna try to get that. And of course I also want Linnea constellations because I just love this character. But yeah, for now I think we can call this video a success. This was a very fun showcase to make. But before I end, there's actually one more thing I wanna do. I wanna try Linnea's nuke again, now that we have C6 Illuga. Can we get over 500,000? We were almost at 500,000 with C2 Illuga. Now, with 30% crit damage that he gives with his C6, we might actually be able to get over 500,000. I want to see that. I want to see Linnea do 500,000 damage with her nuke. So, yeah, let's do that. One last thing in this video before I actually end it. Ino Burst, then Illuga, Goro, and here we go. 523k. Yes, it was actually over 500,000. Oh my god. Yes! That's what I wanted to see. Oh, I love that. I love that so much that she can do over 500,000 just like that. That is amazing. Let's do it one more time. Lumi, go! 523k again. It's so satisfying. Oh my god, I could do this all day. I love Linnea so much. And again. Kongamato's not gonna survive long enough. Yeah, okay. Wasn't able to set up a third rotation. But still, oh my god, that was so awesome. Linnea is just absolutely amazing. I'm probably just gonna use this team in the overworld. Screwed C6, I'm just gonna nuke everything with Linnea. For the overworld, that's definitely more than enough. But yeah, now with that being said, that's already it for this showcase. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Genshin Impact and other gacha content. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.